What's up, friends? So, today I'm going to help you make public speaking a little easier. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this stuff, but this is the idea and the approach that I like to take now that I've been through many experiences in my life. Like, I would never see myself as the person giving a speech, let alone recording videos and putting them out on the internet for everybody to see. But, there's always going to be some resistance, especially if you don't do it enough in your life. Of course, it's like any skill. If you don't use it, you lose it. But what I want to break down is that this skill, this idea of public speaking has really changed a lot along the years. See, when I started my personal journey on public speaking, I've shared in some of my old videos, and you guys probably recognize the name, but I've shared that I started with Toastmasters, Toastmasters International, and it's kind of like a group that many organizations use to kind of help their employees and their people improve their communication. And it's kind of like a meetup that they do every 2 weeks or every week, and people gather up and they do they do some theme topics every week, and then they also do like a round table where they pick like random topics. It's very well organized, and I love the experience and the approach that they use. However, I personally think that it's become pretty much a bit outdated. I haven't been to one of these clubs in a while, but back in the days, it used to be really, how can I say, very structured to meet the corporate world's agenda. It's very respectful. They would look for filler words. Let alone you couldn't really curse on there or what have you. And my like I said, my speaking isn't perfect, but now that I'm getting a little more confident with my voice and all of the classes that I've taken and the trips and the personal development events that I've been to, some of my most inspiring speakers, they got a ton of filler words. They have a ton of how can I say it, like they're not very organized is what I want to say. They're kind of just going impromptu, which is the kind of style that I really resonated with. See, when I took Toastmasters, it was very structured. You've probably seen it on my videos. I have plenty of filler words within my videos, and I used to feel bad about that. I used to beat myself up over like ums or uhs, and yes, there's a moment to kind of pause and gather your thoughts. See what I did there? I think that's a very effective approach. But think of all the people that inspire you nowadays. I mean, let's start with the good old Wes Watson. Look at how many f bombs he drops within within his videos. But yet, look at the attention that he gets. Look at the the life that he's built just because of his unique style of speaking. And that's where I want to encourage you to find that style that really resonates with you. Now, I'm a person that can drop a couple of F bombs, but because I've been in the corporate world for so freaking long, at least half my life for sure, I worked a couple blue collar jobs here and there where the communication's also different. But half of my life, the corporate world, so a lot of that shit stuck to me, and there, my style can be very nonchalant, very organized, but it can also be very free flowing, very outgoing. There's times where I get passionate and I love going on rants. Some of the favorite speakers and influencers that have impacted me go on rants all the time, and that's when I really lock in. I'm like, ah, hell yeah, this guy's fixing to go in, and that's where I really soak it in. So, we've heard the idea of finding your voice, and that's basically the concept right there. Is that you really, in the beginning, you're really trying to hone your skills, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I encourage it all the time to take a speech class. I'm sure there's a ton of other groups now besides the Toastmasters, but after that, you really have to dive in and get on the stage yourself. Now, I was fortunate enough to be a part of an organization where, and my career where we were put on the spot. We had to give safety topics. We had to present KPIs for our organization or what have you. But aside from that, nowadays you don't necessarily have to public speak on a stage. I mean, the stage is set. It's right here in your pocket, right in front of me, right in front of you. It's the cell phone. Nowadays, with all of the media outlets, that is your public stage. That is your opportunity to publicly speak and improve your communication. And another thing that was really hard for me to accept and understand was that you're gonna suck in the beginning. You're gonna have to suck. That is the only way for you to get better. It's the same idea whether you're going into the gym. I like to train like a boxer. I did a little bit of amateur martial arts and amateur boxing as a kid. And yes, you're gonna suck in the beginning. You're gonna get your ass kicked, as they say. But that's the only way that you're actually gonna improve. By being bad in the beginning. But once you find your style, once you find your voice, once you get into that flow, that's where you really that's where you really start to progress, and you start to find passion for speaking in public, and you actually almost have an urge to do something that that is going to require you to speak. We've heard it many times, and I've encouraged it myself that a sales job is a great way to improve your communication. It's a great way to learn human nature, human and interaction and social dynamics is the word I'm looking for. You really learn to be able to understand people, fulfill their needs, not just necessarily be a shark or something, just trying to make a sale, but you're actually trying to provide a service and bring value to that person. That's where you're really gonna resonate and be able to grow with your voice. So don't overcomplicate it. Whenever you feel that I can't really work on my skill, I need to wait for my next Toastmasters meeting, which is part of why I held back for so long. But no, nowadays you're blessed with the internet. You're blessed with all of these social media outlets, and this little pocket studio that we have in our phones. We can use it to develop our communication, develop our brand, develop our ideas, and that's where you're really going to improve with your public speaking. So it doesn't have to be that hard. Do what you can to be able to hone the skills. Like I said, practice the pause, practice eliminating filler words, and find that style that you really resonate with. And I'll bring it up again. I'm sure Wes Watson didn't go to no public speaking or no Toastmasters meeting before he made it. So there's no excuses nowadays, guys. So let's get out there, do some more content and some more public speaking. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to share, like, or subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.